My lawyer, Nick, so he had in an appeal bond because I went to trial. I was appealing the decision made by the jury. So in that process and in good faith, you can request a bond to where you could come back and fight that case on the street. And it was very expensive, but I ended up getting approved. So I had like a whole like 3 month process of like 30 teleconferences and telecourt, all webcam court. I was at Graceville Correctional Facility too. This badass private facility. Well, actually, it was fucking gladiator shit. It was ran by CCA at the time. Long story short, they had that private shit is real strict on like classification, legal mail stuff. They don't play games. So when that lawyer calls, they make sure they call your ass out there. They don't play no radio. I was able to get that shit done like literally in 3 months. I got out, bro. Fucking USG7 tied me up and black boxed me in a van, brought me to Alachua County Jail and let me out, bro, after like 9 months in jail. I had already got wet and painted up, all tatted. So I like EOS twice, essentially. I EOS 9 months into my bid and then 11 years, 6 months later.
That's crazy. All right, before we get into that, I just want to ask a couple more questions about like the case and losing trial.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into the prison stuff. All right. So losing trial initially, the first time, whenever you lost, and then like you said, they let you go, you didn't know. Explain to the viewer real quick, like the incentive for us whenever or if someone gets a furlough or gets released on, after they lose trial and they have to wait to get sentenced. What is the threat hanging over your head that like gives you the incentive not to run?
Family, bro. Just your ties, essentially. Like, I sat down and cold-heartedly literally beat myself to fucking death, man, making this decision. I just couldn't bear. I was too young for one. And if I would have left, then I'd be on the run for essentially ever. Uncle Sam don't play on a second-degree felony. Capital murder or something even more aggravated, maybe that would have been a different scenario, and I never would have got a bond. But it's just my family, bro. My mom, just every time I seen my mom, she started crying. It was overwhelmingly stressful, bro. It was just like the fact that I still look like this and I came out upside, not upside down is by God's grace, but overwhelmingly stressful, bro. You have no idea on how surreal that shit was.
That's right. And isn't it true too? Don't they give you isn't it like mandatory they give you the maximum amount of time if you run?
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
So definitely true. If you play at all in that type of scenario, that's basically like absconding. You are breaching your trust. And in that breach of trust, you essentially are no longer valid. Your word is shit. It's like bad credit. You feel me? You did it to yourself. And yes, and you haven't been sentenced yet. So essentially, it's still a question mark on what the judge has discretion on. In this case, it was a 10-20 life statute, so I was getting 10 years either fucking way. If I would have gotten more, it would have been vindictive sentencing. So luckily, I know the law, so I was it. So as we go on, I was in the court in the law library my entire bid, basically trying to get my shit knocked down. But long story short, yes, if you run off a furlough, you can get hammered, man.
And then lastly, before we get into the prison stuff, just to clarify, because you only mentioned it once. So this case happened at the University of Florida campus.
Yeah.
On the college campus. So this was all over the news, huh?
Yeah, so I was all over the alligator, everything, man. I have my own little freaking news snippet, everything. Now, some people say it was on campus, some people say it wasn't. University Avenue, you have the fucking campus, and then you have like where all the apartments are. I lived in the fucking apartments right there off like 3rd Avenue. If you're from Gainesville and you know the facility, I literally lived right behind Gator City. So if that's not on campus, in which case that's all the fucking judge and prosecuting attorney kept fucking screaming, in which case I'm saying, no, the fuck, it's not on campus. But 14 million times in my deposition, they mentioned it. So something that really didn't need to be stated, it just stuck with me. So now it's just over with. I rep it. That's shit right. Happened on campus. Yeah. Literally, I could have threw a tennis ball and hit O'Connell Center. Literally.
Yeah. All right. So being 20 years old, bro, young man, just getting hit with over a decade in prison. How did that feel whenever you went back to be sentenced, and then like they finally gave you your sentencing, and then I'm assuming right there in that moment they cuffed you up and you went to the county jail and you're waiting to go to prison, right? How were you feeling emotionally at 20 years old, just being sentenced to over a decade?
It's crazy because like during the whole appeal and 30-day furlough, my best friend Vito like did time. He went to Lancaster. So this whole time we're in LA Fitness, like juicing up in the fucking gym. He's literally giving me and running me game on basically how to survive in the joint. So when let's just say after I started de-dressing out, right? So boom, I see both the bailiffs coming with the handcuffs. I immediately start taking my wallet and shit out, giving everything to my dad right behind me. Whole fucking courtroom broke out, bro. I forgot to tell you, 3 days worth of trial, I had like 50, 60 people in the courtroom every single day. All these ex-girlfriends I had, all my homeboys, my mom, my sisters, dad, stepdad, everybody was livid. And like nobody on the fucking right. Not one person. So when they took me away, it was a fucking mosh pit, bro. My homeboy Micah literally damn near chased my lawyer out the courtroom. I swear it was a fucking shit show. About shut the whole courthouse down in Gainesville. So, and I tell you, shit you not, literally, the second I lost visual of them, you go right to the little holding cell, little pod right there. Straight concrete too. Nothing friendly about that motherfucking cell for y'all who's listening right now. Straight slab in that courthouse. Yeah, I got literally popped my t-shirt and started doing push-ups. Swear, because that's what my boy Vito told me to do right when I hit the cell. So I just start cranking out push-ups, and it was literally a driving force for me and my mental health throughout my incarceration. So that was like my first 30 minutes in the courthouse in that little fucking slab cell.
That's real, bro.
And
Go ahead, what you gonna say?
nah, and just the whole time thinking about all my family having a shit show out there in the courthouse.
All right, so go ahead, walk the viewers through, before we get to prison, how was your first day in the county jail? And just give us a brief like stint of the overview of your time in the county, waiting to go to prison, and then kind of like walk the viewers through of like how that is in the county, and then like waiting to go to prison, and then like the van ride to prison.
Out the gate, for some reason, before you even hear it, you just like already heard about it. White boy put down all that bullshit. And that wasn't the case at all, essentially. But when I got in there, there was so much watered down bullshit about prison. And because I was already sentenced, I didn't even go to that little bullshit ass holding facility that normal people go to. I went straight to I block in 2-man cell. I was already HO4 housing. So I went with people who were already back on their appeal, already sentenced, literally aggravated, convicted, Capital One, but like bad people, essentially, which not bad people, but the stereotype around that. So that's where I went. I only did 15 days in county before Lake Butler came and grabbed me. So my 15-day experience and after my sentencing was really watered down. Everyone told me I probably spent now I got scammed a little bit on a couple occasions because I'm real big into like planning, and everyone told me I need to buy a whole bunch of stamped envelopes. That's money when you get up the road. I'm sure you remember that shit. You can't take no canteen, can't take no hygiene, can't take shit with you to Lake Butler. So everyone's telling me you got to book up on books of stamps and stamped envelopes. Man, I touched down Lake Butler with 400 books of stamps, 200 fucking stamped envelopes. Man, ain't none of that shit was fucking peon money when I got there. I was giving up 15 stamped envelopes for one suit, man. And when you break the mathematics down, stamped envelopes $1, bro. So this shit didn't even make sense, man. Damn, what was like the big thing about county jail in comparison to county jail sucks because there's no radio, no privileges. So everyone was pretty much like, yo, you're gonna be so happy when you get to prison. So they like hyped me up like, yo, you need to get to prison already. Get the fuck out of county, get to prison. Like literally, everyone's waiting to get to prison. To the contrary, and I know it sounds crazy, but that's literally how it play out.
Especially too because you're already in a pod. Like everyone came back from prison, so anyone who's already in prison, like they don't want to go back to the county unless to see their family, and that's
Fuck
it.
no, bro.
Time is good in prison, not in the county. So they're
Depending
telling
on
you,
the county, literally,
yeah.
I've heard stories where this county sucks, that county's good, you know, shaking the bomb, hitting the hose in Vizzo, whatever the case may be, like Volusia County or Alachua County. That shit don't go down there, but there are some times where people do like to go to outside court. But me in Alachua County sucked because ain't no TV. Well, actually, yeah, I think they got TV now, and everything's all souped up with the videograms and shit. But county just sucked, man.
All right, so this segue into the prison, bro. All right, so explain the transfer from the county jail to prison. What was your very first day like in prison? What reception center did you go to? And just paint the picture, bro.
It's a fucked up picture, yo. So my first prison was Lake Butler. All right, the infamous Lake Butler. North Florida Reception Center. All right, it's really called North Florida Medical Reception Center. Houses both men and females, psych, you name it. They even have CM cells there. I got off the bus, man, the Bluebird, all right, which was crazy. I rode a fucking Bluebird to prison, not a van. That's how many people got off the bus at Alachua County. They booked that day.
What's a bluebird? Explain to the viewers if they don't know what that means.
Okay, real quick. The Bluebird is the 55-foot van, man. That's all caged out. They used to be like teal blue. Now they're all white. I'm sure if you've been riding I-10, I-75, or I-4, I'm sure you've actually, I don't think they really cruise I-4. Primarily I-75, I-10. You've seen a Bluebird. They're just big prison transport vans. Absolutely pieces of junk that got 60 million miles on them. Anyway, so I get to Lake Butler, coming off the Bluebird instead of a van. So that just shows there was a lot of people landing that day. Oh my God. No, you didn't have no property. They stripped you butt naked, literally right the fuck out the gate. All right. And we dick to butt tight. Now, this was so uncomfortable. It was a shame, but everybody was like little guinea pigs in there. So you just kind of followed suit. And the people who did show their ass got they shit fucking slammed and drug out in handcuffs. So there was no point to act the fool. You just had to follow suit and get in fucking line, bro. It was ridiculous, right? So we're literally nut to dick to butt going through these x-ray machines. There's this huge wood fucking bench. Huge wood bench right here on the left-hand side. Got 200 inmates literally lined up, all facing the wall on the bench. And we had to do the cot, the squat and cough bullshit. Literally, they made us put our. There's probably only one way I had to show y'all. I had to stand up, but literally, they made you bend over at the hip and just put your fucking forehead on that wooden bench, bro. While literally dogs and this big stupid ass old country cracker named fucking Big Country, literally is his name, with a flashlight, just gooch checked and ass checked everyone. It was the most invasion of privacy a man could ever experience. So that happened for like 30 minutes. Forehead on the fucking wood. Hands behind your back. So it was the most uncomfortable shit ever. And now granted, the inside of this fucking facility is 62 degrees at least, bro. So you butt the fuck naked freezing, bro. Everyone's hurting. It was a depressing time. I'm not even gonna fucking front. We get into reception, boom. That's when you just sitting there waiting for fucking medical to tell you how fucking tall you are and all that bullshit. Property, etc. Flapjack. They ended up putting me in I dorm. Bro, when we're walking up I dorm, there's rats walking fucking down. I swear, chunky ass rats. Man, Lake Butler was nothing to fuck with, bro. Absolute violation in every health code you could fucking imagine. Swear.
All right, real quick before we continue. To keep it a buck now, which I know you will. So you're 20 years old. I went to prison first time when I was 18. You know, what was going on in your mind going to prison for the first time? You already had your homie who was lacing you up and giving you the game, you know, preparing you for prison, and then you went to like a prison pod, so they were even giving you more game. What was your like mental state like? Were you ready for whatever, like ready for war, or were you like even that and still nervous, fearful? Like how were you feeling emotionally, or was like, man, this ain't nothing, it's a cakewalk?
Definitely, because out the gate there was so much like shit popping off when I got there. Like the police was beating motherfuckers up. People were showing their ass, beating the police up. It was a fucking war zone. Yes, it literally was. Not essentially towards me, but I was walking through thunder. So honestly, it was like fight or flight type shit. But I keep remembering Vito telling me, just keep it real. Just keep doing you for Derb, because I've always been like straight to the point. I ain't never really beat around the bush. I ain't never robbed no one. I always been like good business. So he would like literally tell me you're gonna do just fine. So granted, I walked the pound with that like my chest out, don't fuck with me attitude, but still friendly, if that makes sense. So I ended up linking up with this fucking Chico named Miguel, bro, and we was fucking bro. Ended up riding with the Latinos my entire bid, all because me and Miguel got down like fucking dirty quick. We was doing push-ups, hanging out. It's crazy. We rode too. We ended up landing in I-Dorm together, went to Wild Wild West West Unit, which is another annex facility of Lake Butler. Stayed there for like, same dorm too. I was over there in A-Dorm, the permanent dorm, with Miguel. We go all the way to motherfucking Graceville together. He ended up going psych though, right when we got to Graceville, because he'd been doing time. Motherfucker, it's not his first rodeo. He was just going back through Lake Butler, so. But the second he got to Graceville, he was like, man, fuck this spot. I got to go.
And listen, if you've done any time, I'm talking about a county jail, state penitentiary, federal, or even drug programs, whatever. If you want to share your story on this channel, go ahead and email me at eithekingbooking. Go ahead and put your stories in the comments below. If there's anything that I talked about slightly, you want me to go more in depth on, or anything I haven't talked about at all, and it's a good idea, drop it in the comments. Let me know. And also remember, I am a rapper. My artist name is EI the King. You can find my music on all platforms. I also have another channel, YouTube channel, my official artist channel, EI the King. And I also have another podcast. It's called Let Me Talk Bro, where I talk more so about my life, music, ministry, and all these things. Also, I have a Patreon with exclusive content. Everything is in the description below. So listen, man, till the next time, it's your boy, EI the King.